Hey guys, I just wanted to say real quick before this next video starts. I just want to say I'm in no way, shape, or form an expert on this. This is all my opinions and everything and how I do it. And this next demonstration is on how I set up the Spectrum HTE gun from Harbor Freight. Now, pretty much all guns are the same. Some of them may have a few extra knobs here or there. But pretty much they're all the same. You have a fluid and a fan, and you have your air. And once you get that figured out, you're in good shape. But yeah, I do use a couple other guns. I have a SATA that I use. You'll probably see it in the next video hanging. But like I said, I pretty much set them up all the same. And your air pressures, I say I use 18 to 20, a lot. And that's for my base. Now some things change. Like I said, you have to adjust that stuff. But for the most part, this is just my take on things, and I hope you guys like the video. Hey guys, Corey, BPB. I'm making this video real quick. I've had a few people ask me some questions about it. And I don't know, I'm sure there's probably a lot more curious if I've had a couple ask me. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this little video demonstration and how I do it. Not necessarily 100% correct. This works for me. Take it as you will. Anyhow, how to set up a spray gun. So, and basically, what kind of spray gun I use and this and that. How I decide what size tips to use. So basically I use the same size tip for every single spray I spray, except for like a gel coat, as if I was spraying like a boat or something like that. I would generally use like a 1.8 size tip for that, or maybe even a 2.0. But most of your automotive stuff you can get by with like a 1.3, 1.5. I actually bought this gun, well, I got it as a gift actually, thank you Mom. This gift, it's the Harbor Freight gun. I believe it's the best one they sell there. It's the Spectrum Black Widow, I believe it's called. It's got a 1.3 tip in it, it's what it comes with, and that's what I use for everything I spray. It works for me. I usually thin all my material down exactly the same. So, and I can kind of show you guys how I do that. I always follow the directions. It's like 2 to 1 usually on my base coats, or stuff like that. But clear coats are usually 4 to 1. But they generally have the same consistency when you're done. So through the years, I've just developed a simple knowledge of being able to understand the consistency and what it should look like, I guess. That's what I'm getting at. So follow the directions, and then you can always add a little bit more thinner, give or take. It's not like your paint's not going to adhere or not stick if you thin it down a little bit extra to make it thinner, based on temperature. But if it's hot out, sometimes you'll have to, add less thinner or more thinner, whatever. If it's cold, you can change that. They also sell, high temp, mid temp reducer. I generally use a medium reducer always. I'm in a controlled environment here, so that's kind of why I use that. Now, as far as setting your gun up, it's pretty simple. You get your paint in there, and then you want to adjust your pattern to a good solid pattern. And I'll get my stuff mixed up. I'll show you guys a little bit how I do that, and then we will set up the gun. So let's take a little cut here. All right, guys, when I mix this up, like I said, I follow the directions, and for this particular paint, it's 2 to 1. So, or optional 1 to 1. So you can see how, how much you can change it. You can add that's basically 50% reduced or 100%. I mean, so you can add, it's variable. So, but I'll show you how I get the consistency and what I do, how the consistency. So I'm going to run this tape on here. This helps me keep from making a mess. Make like a little fountain or like a little funnel. Doesn't work the best, but it usually helps me keep from making a huge mess. All right. We're going to run that up to the, I don't know, we don't need a whole lot. I guess probably about the 4. We're just spraying the backside of a fender today to get it ready, prepped to put it together and mount it on the car, or on the truck. And so we'll run that up to the 4 there. And I've already put this paint in the shaker for about 5 or 10 minutes, so it's good and ready. But yeah. Well, then we'll add our reducer. And we're just going to run it up to the 4 on this here, and that puts us at 2 to 1, and that's usually pretty close to the consistency that we're looking for. Might have to add just a little more. I want this stuff like almost runny, like water a little bit, pretty close, but not really. But when I dip my stick off of there, or when I dip my stick down in there, I want it to pretty much flow off the stick pretty easily. You don't want it still clumping up or anything like that. But I'm just looking for it to run off of there really quick in a nice fine line. And that's pretty close. Like I said, 2 to 1. I added just a tish more, and that was it. It runs off there real nice and fine, keeps a nice, thin, nice even bead, but yet still keeps my stick coated there. It's got a nice even coat with just one dip of the stick. So that's kind of how I do it. Like I said, not necessarily 100% how I guess maybe they would teach you, but that's just what I go for. That's how I tell every time. And it usually sprays out perfect every time for me. Next, we'll go ahead and throw this in the gun and give it a spray and show you guys how to set that gun up. All right, guys, I've already got my air turned on and got my water lines drained and everything. I've got my regulator here. I always set my pressure at almost the same for all my paints and stuff. It's usually around 18, 20, somewhere around in there. Anyhow, just turn it on, get your air pressure set wherever you want. We're just going to set it for 20. We'll set it for 20 pounds. And then here we've got our fan adjuster. We can, we can set it to spray at a pinch point. Now, when you set the fan, you're gonna have to readjust your air, or it'll, have too much pressure. Set it back to 20 here. Now, we don't want it a pinpoint. That's not what we're going for. Okay, we do not want that. We want to have a nice fan set up. We don't want it too wide either. I'll show you the opposite. Okay, that's all right, but that's screwed all the way out. What we're going for a nice, even pattern. So, with not too much paint, not too much air. It's not leaving no hard lines, no nothing like that. It blends out nice. It's a nice, even fan. All right, and that's it. I mean, our fluid, I keep it pretty much, you know, about all the way out, all the time on all of it. I do all my control with the fan and the trigger, you know, and how close I am. You know, once you learn how to do that, you know, and setting up a paper like this or a demonstration area is definitely the best thing to do before you actually start on a panel. But yeah, around 18 to 20 psi on the pressure and a nice even pattern, you know, straight up and down. You know, you don't want to pinpoint. You don't want it too wide where it looks all, you know, fanned out everywhere and it's creating a big bunch of overspray. And then when you're making your coats, you want to do, you want to overlap them 50%. So you're going to go and then go down 50%, just like that, and right over it. And that's how and you do that all the way down your panel. You know, start at the top, work your way all the way down, 50%. And then on your width, when you're spraying, you want to go shoulder to shoulder. That way you can remember, you know, about how wide you sprayed. And, you know, that's about the perfect amount. Keep a nice even flow. And, you know, shoulder to shoulder. If you go too much, you're reaching far. You're not getting the right coverage. You know, you just want to keep spray right in front of you, shoulder to shoulder, to make sure you're getting the exact coverage you need. So, that's pretty much all I got for my little demonstration, guys. I hope I answered a lot of questions. I know if you have any more questions, something I forgot to go over, I'm trying to do this and spray something at the same time, so I'm kind of in a little bit of a hurry, but I hope, like I said, I hope that cleared up a lot of your questions. Thanks for watching. Give me a like, share, subscribe if you learned something. Like I said, if you got any other questions, drop them right down in the comments and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as possible. Thanks so much.